You're listening to Kerry Lutz's Financial Survival Network, where you get valuable information you just can't find anywhere else. To thrive in today's trying times, you need the Financial Survival Network, now more than ever. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and get your free newsletter and gift. Financial Survival Network, now more than ever.
Welcome. You are listening to the Financial Survival Network. I'm Kerry Lutz. Well, it's election day today, and a lot of what's on the ballot isn't really on the ballot, but it's on voters' minds, and that is the value of your savings, the value of your home, what the future lies. Are your home values going to implode? Are your securities values, your investment values going to implode? Well, let's talk with our good friend, Andrew Ragusa, a real estate expert from Long Island, New York, my old state. And Andrew, it's great to have you back on. So a lot of uncertainty in the real estate markets. You think that's finding its way to the ballot box?
Yeah, Kerry, thanks for having me back, by the way. I'm noticing that right now, the biggest concerns that people are always talking about, even when still home shopping, there's still people home shopping right now. Everyone is talking about their wallets. They're all concerned about inflation, the price of food, the price of homes. I got some people are buying houses and we're looking at mortgage payments on small properties in excess of $4,500 a month on small properties. These rates are making it very unaffordable for people. So I believe when people get to the ballot box today, they're keeping all financial woes in mind.
Now, you and I both know that when it comes to interest rates, that is strictly the purview of the Federal Reserve. But the average person doesn't look at it like, oh, it's Chairman Powell's fault. They blame it on the government. And who is responsible for the federal government? The president. You think they're going to take it out at the ballot box? Not to get political, but just as a practical matter here. You think most people are going to really hit back at the ruling party?
Absolutely. I mean, you're absolutely right about the Fed's in charge of the interest rates, but that doesn't change the fact that people are upset with the way things are going and how much money is being spent, which is causing so much rise in inflation as well. I mean, the reason why they're even raising rates is because they just keep printing money, doing what they're doing over there. And it's affecting the real estate market. It's affecting people's investments, their portfolios. Everything is down and on a decline, and it doesn't look like it's recovering anytime soon unless there is some major change in leadership. And it doesn't have to necessarily be just the president. By having new leadership in Congress, you know, they can enact laws and pass things and perform regulations to do something to stimulate what's happening now or curb the behavior that's happening now. There needs to be some sort of check in place.
Yeah. And where you are in Long Island was once hardcore red. Then it became a little bluer. Then it became kind of purple. Last couple of elections, looks like it's going back to bright red again, doesn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, everywhere I go, there is a sign on someone's lawn that says Lee Zeldin, which is the Republican candidate going up against Kathy Hochul, the Democrat candidate. So, and the thing was, when you talk to the people, they're more awake than they have ever been before as to what's going on in politics and spending. It seems like it's become the thing to know these days. So I think now more than ever, everyone's saying, hey, we need to change. What we're doing right now is not working, and I can't afford to live in New York anymore. How are we going to fight this? And this is the way I think they can.
Yeah, and then there's the personal safety issue, which the ruling party seems to be completely oblivious to, that crime is skyrocketing, even if it's relatively safe in most of Long Island. It is an issue that is first and foremost on your mind as a homeowner and as a resident of these areas. You don't want to see them go down.
No, exactly right. Kerry, let's just call it what it is. It's gaslighting. They're lying. They know that it's up. The statistics are proving it. Everyone knows it. We live it. We see it. It's safe to walk around New York City anymore. People from Long Island are not going into the city, and people are still leaving the city to come out to the suburbs. They are concerned for their safety, and it's a bunch of nonsense to pretend like nothing wrong is happening. So no one's buying it anymore, and I expect people to tell them about it at the polls.
So nothing to see here, just move along, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, well, it's obvious. It's up all over. And we have an environment that encourages lawlessness when there's no accountability. So all of this, though, every factor we're talking about is a factor that determines your largest investment's value, namely your home, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And right now, what's the thing that's hurting people the most about the real estate market is this has gone up tremendously. We're talking about a 5 to 6 point increase in 1 year, and the prices have still not come nowhere near enough. They've come down a little bit. People are not paying $100,000 over price because of shortages of houses. In fact, there's a lot more houses on market now than there were in the last 2 years. But the reality is that they're still priced very high. And looking at, for example, I just put a deal under contract in Levittown. And if anyone's from the area, they would know that the average price point around there used to be about $350,000 to $400,000 with taxes that were less than $10,000, somewhere in the ballpark at 8, at most 12. Today, this deal got locked down at $465,000 with taxes over $13,000. Taxes have raised tremendously. And I'm not talking about a big lot here. This is a standard Levitt home. It's small. It doesn't have a basement. And this customer is looking at a monthly payment of $4,568 a month for this tiny little house. And it's not right. How can people work and live in this state if things keep going the way they're going?
Yeah. The state's been heading downwards for a long time. Bad leadership, bad policies, escalating costs, unions out of control, all these things making New York City and state less and less livable.
Don't just survive, thrive. The Financial Survival Network.
Goldterra Resource Corp is a gold exploration company that has assembled a highly prospective district-scale land position on the doorstep of the city of Yellowknife in Canada's Northwest Territories. Goldterra is currently focused on expanding and delineating gold resources at the company's Yellowknife City Gold Project, with a goal of discovering over 5 million ounces. With ready access to infrastructure and multiple high-grade gold discoveries, Goldterra is on track to re-establishing Yellowknife as one of the premier gold mining districts in Canada. Goldterra trades as YGT in Toronto and YGTFF on the OTC. For more information, go to goldterracorp.com. That's goldterracorp.com.
This is the Financial Survival Network. The information you need to thrive now more than ever.
You know, the thing about New York, the reason why people love this place is because when you come to New York, you have every culture. You can literally dine in a restaurant from a different country on every other block. There is a place to eat that will excite you. There's tons of things to do. The city is constantly alive. When it was safe, we're in here constantly because it's a beautiful town. It's a great place to be in all seasons as well. I think that now, more than ever, people have woken up to what's going on. And I expect them to make a change in the city now. I don't anticipate doom and gloom. I actually see a good future for New York because I know for a fact every single customer I talk to, and I talk to people all day, every day, they're all awake. Everyone sees what's happening. I know lifelong Democrats who are saying there's no way I am going to vote blue this time, and they're actually going out to vote red. They want something different. They want a change. And I believe they're going to have it. This is the first time I believe New York is going to be in the Republican Party in many years.
Yeah, well, these paradigm shifts take place. And I'm not saying the Republicans are going to be any better than the Democrats, but they're on notice that people are unhappy. They're going to get tossed. And they'll be voted out as quickly as they were voted in. But states go back and forth. It could be 20 to 40 year cycles of going back between the parties. And when they leave one party and go to another, there's generally a major issue that the existing power structure party is ignoring and has ignored for so long that the people just give up any hope or any connection to party affiliation. And they just up and leave. And I think to me, and I'm not saying that one party is better than the other. I mean, they're not. They haven't served the country. It doesn't matter which party it is, really. a lot of issues. But my point is that just you wake up every day and you think something is the way it is, and then all of a sudden it changes, and you're caught by surprise. And this could be one of those moments where New York state flips, and that would be a huge shocker. It's been 20 years since there was a Republican governor in New York. So, hey, getting back to our main focus, which is real estate markets in and around the New York metro area, is obviously, you mentioned there's still higher inventory, more inventory coming into the market, but people are still buying, aren't they?
Yes, there are. And I'm still seeing some bidding wars. They're nowhere near as aggressive as they used to be. But when a property is well-maintained, updated, modern, clean, people are going in swinging with their best offer. And they can still go over, but it is nowhere near as drastic as it used to be. And unfortunately, with the high interest rates, people just don't have the same buying power that they used to have. But there are buyers out there. And there's a lot more inventory. So if people were looking to grab something, it's smart to use one of these loans that are designed for today's environment. They have some sort of adjustments in the rates. Like they're not exactly an ARM, like a 10-year ARM or 5-year ARM, which is adjustable rate mortgage. That's what that means. But they have what's called like 2-1 buy downs, where you pay a little bit extra in your closing costs and you get like a discount on your interest rate for the first 2 years of owning the home. And then you have the option to refinance down the road to a payment that's much more affordable when the cycle moves to a better climate and the rates come back down. So people are taking advantage of it, and they're seeing there's a lot of inventory, and they're still grabbing homes.
Yeah. So even though sales are down, prices come down a bit, or not going up as high as they were.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you look at it, it's either way, the prices have come down, because there was a point where like we would advertise the property for $500,000, it would sell for $600,000. Now you advertise the property for $500, it should sell for $500 or right below or right above. So the sale is still taking place. There's definitely less buyers than there were, without a doubt. But the nice thing about this climate that we're in right now is that you have plenty to choose from. So some people are just really taking advantage of, hey, what loan flexibility options do I have? And then they're just going to grab the property that they love, because prior to this, no one could find the property they love. And a lot of people were settling for, hey, I just need a place.
Right. Yeah. So the rush was on. It was almost a panic.
Yeah.
And I think people saw with the inflation, all the programs, everything, that it really was inflationary, and that you had to get in then you had to do it to get in, or otherwise forget it, right?
Exactly. Right now there's a bunch of loan products that people are taking advantage of, where they're asking the sellers to pay down some of their closing costs or pay down their interest rate. So let's make an offer on a house for $500,000, and they ask the seller to contribute $12,000 or $15,000 towards the closing cost of that buyer, so that buyer can pay down the interest rate to a better rate. And by doing this, they're making it more affordable for themselves, and the sellers are still getting offers that are reasonable, and they're not, no one's really losing. It's kind of a win-win scenario here.
All right. Well, hey, we appreciate your bringing us up to date, letting us know what the mood is on Long Island. And I assume, Long Island's close to the city, obviously two different distinct places. But I think a lot of what people in Long Island are feeling is taking place throughout the state. So it's going to be an interesting election, see what happens here, see what effect it has. Hey, Andrew, if we want to find out more about you, connect with you, how do we do that?
Hey, you guys can go to my Instagram page, which is just my name, Andrew_Ragusa_, or go to my website, which is letsguideyouhome.com.
All right. Excellent. And if you got a question for Andrew, you can always shoot me an email, kl@kerrylutz.com. And Andrew, we will talk to you again real soon. Appreciate you stopping by.
Thanks for the invite, Kerry. Love being here.
Thanks for listening to Kerry Lutz's Financial Survival Network, your solution to today's trying times. For the latest, go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com. Financial Survival Network, now more than ever.